By the way, I don't know what Ion Network was trying to do last night. The broadcaster said at least twice that the game was sold out. And that was not true. All right? That was not true. The game was roughly almost 800 tickets shy of being sold out for Paige Bueckers' debut at the College Park Center.
The Dallas Wings have finally done the unthinkable. They've tried to convince us that Paige Bueckers is the next Caitlin Clark. By this, I mean that they have made a desperate attempt to hype up a player who, let's face it, doesn't have the same draw. If Paige were any more overhyped, they would probably have to start handing out flyers asking people to attend the local mall. So what happened to all that Paige effect we kept hearing about? Stay tuned as we dive into the crazy reality check that just hit the Dallas Wings and Nalyssa Smith.
The biggest superstar the WNBA has ever seen in the last 8 months. Paige Bueckers arrives and gets 6,251 people in attendance. Oh my God, it was flooded. It was flooded. The College Park Center was flooded with people. Oh, maybe it wasn't flooded. Maybe it wasn't really flooded at all. We can't sell out Paige Bueckers' home debut, her season opener, and her home debut. We can't even sell that out. Oh, goodness gracious. Oh, goodness gracious. Paige Bueckers is fitting in perfectly into the WNBA. Good job, Paige. Good. Nobody else can sell out their games in the WNBA. Caitlin Clark can.
The Dallas Wings, that venerable institution of basketball mediocrity, are finally waking up from its fantasy to admit what the rest of us already knew. Paige Bueckers is not Caitlin Clark. The same Dallas organization that used the first overall pick as a landing page was going to make them the WNBA's hottest ticket. You know, the kind of ticket that breaks Ticketmaster like a Caitlin Clark game does.
So this is for her, Paige Bueckers' debut game. Now, should be noted, don't forget, when Caitlin Clark and the Fever come to town, they're moving the game to American Airlines Arena, where the Mavericks play. So Paige Bueckers' debut is still in their regular arena, College Park Arena. And you may be wondering, American Airlines Arena has a 20,000 seat capacity. This only has a 7,000 seat capacity. So it's going to be very interesting. And in case you're wondering, there are still a ton of tickets left for this thing. The only thing that's sold out, I mean, you got 1, 2, 3, 4. So you got 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 sections that are sold out. And then there's a bunch of blue where there are tickets available. So
in May, Paige Bueckers made her WNBA debut against her hometown Minnesota Lynx. Although it was supposed to be a dream matchup that should have been impossible to get tickets for, there were actually available seats and noticeable gaps in the crowd. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark has been breaking attendance records like they're made of tissue paper, but the media decided that wasn't enough to acknowledge the obvious difference in star power. Fast forward to Paige's debut, and now they're practically scrambling to explain the patches of empty seats.
Important to put back. How did that feel, and how did you feel about your performance in total?
Yeah, I should have made the first one. Room to grow. You got to have a starting point, so you got to have a foundation to build on. We don't want to overreact to the loss, but we also know there's a lot of things we have to clean up and get better at.
Why? Because I don't know. Maybe the basketball media should just act like there's a rivalry here. Could it have been the desperate attempt to find someone who could stand in the same frame as Caitlin Clark? Could it have been the WNBA's decision to award future face of the league titles to anyone who had a successful college career? Let's not forget that Caitlin Clark is breaking attendance records like she's on some sort of mission to make the WNBA mainstream. The kind of attendance that made you wonder if she had a personal grudge against empty seats, but somehow the Dallas Wings thought that bringing in Paige Bueckers would create the same electricity. If you're enjoying, please subscribe.
Unfortunately, lost to the Minnesota Lynx in her debut 99-84, but have no fear. The second coming of the Great White Hope is
However, as the story progresses, it becomes clear that Nalyssa Smith abandoned Caitlin Clark after she was traded from the Indiana Fever to the Dallas Wings. I mean, she only watched the entire season as Clark transformed the Fever into the WNBA's most popular player, so I suppose she couldn't handle being on a team where she wasn't the center of attention. When she learned of her trade, she updated her Instagram bio more quickly than you could say career mistake, effectively leaving Indianapolis with a declaration of new beginning. The world knows there is only one Caitlin Clark, but hey, it's better late than never to learn that lesson. Nalyssa Smith wisely traded the guaranteed sellout crowds with Indiana for the maybe will fill the lower bowl reality of Dallas. They pretended to have found gold in their backyard and declared, "Oh look, we have Paige Bueckers. We're going to be the next big thing."
Despite the loss, Paige Bueckers shined in her WNBA debut. No, she didn't. If you are going to coddle Paige Bueckers like this, then I'm sorry. You think, like, if this was shining, if 10 points and 30% shooting, 7 rebounds, and 2 assists to 2 turnovers, and more fouls than assists as a point guard, if that is shining, then just say you don't think Paige Bueckers is that good.
Oh, hey, remember that Paige Bueckers, she's amazing, she's a freaking superstar. The Wings say now. You only needed to lose to Minnesota once during the regular season to know that perhaps she isn't nearly as appealing as Clark. Thank you. It's like watching a friend who purchased a knockoff designer bag and then all of a sudden they're complaining about the stitching coming undone, acting as though they didn't know it wasn't authentic. Dallas, for finally realizing what the rest of the world had figured out months ago. Oh, I thought we were getting the same thing. Yes, of course, friend, but don't be overly shocked when everyone else tries to remind you that there is only one original. Let's also discuss the media's comparison system. As everyone knows, sports media enjoys fostering rivalries. In fact, it's practically a sport in and of itself. You understand what I mean when you think they've finally come to terms with the fact that someone is in a league of their own. They pull some outrageous stunts that make you wonder if they were watching the same sport as everyone else.
Right here, despite the loss, Paige Bueckers shined in her WNBA debut, okay? Then they showed 10 points, 7 rebounds, 2 assists. Cool, if you want to say that, that's cool, right? That's fine. Maybe you are a fan of it. Maybe you're a huge fan of Paige Bueckers. Fine, you want to decorate it, make it seem like she did her thing, that's fine. But let's go back to what happened right here, right? This was last year when you were talking about Caitlin Clark. Now look at what they said. An up and down WNBA debut for Caitlin Clark. What does up and down mean? And look at the stats. 20 points, 5 for 15. 10 turnovers.
For example, Paige Bueckers, who assisted UConn in winning a national championship, was instantly compared to Caitlin Clark. Why? Perhaps the media simply cannot accept the idea that one player is simply more transformative than the others. Perhaps it's because they're so accustomed to creating rivalries rather than accepting the obvious fact that it's genuinely a mystery. In any case, the media is pushing this Paige against Caitlin's story. Despite the fact that Clark had already experienced the kind of season where fans were willing to pay thousands of dollars for tickets, arena attendance increased by more than 150% simply because Caitlin Clark was in town. However, let's not overlook the irony that, despite all the hype surrounding the Paige effect allegedly rivaling the Clark effect, we are now witnessing the harsh reality that one player routinely sells out arenas across the country while the other, well, let's just say the Dallas Wings aren't concerned about their ticket office being overrun.
It's just different. That's all I'm going to say. Like, we have not seen any... can't remember the last time we've seen anything like this. It's just mad. It's just mad to see the cues, just everything when it comes to Caitlin Clark and this Indiana Fever team. Like, they are playing in... I'm not joking. It's 4 hours till tip-off. It is 4 hours till tip-off, and I just saw this right here from Dave Portnoy. There's a line for Caitlin Clark merch around the corner at 9 a.m, an hour before the team stores opens, and 6 hours before tip-off. Like, can we be honest? Like, this is not normal. That is not normal. Is it something that's happened before? Probably. Is it normal? Hell no.
I'm just waiting for the inevitable turning point where they start overtly pushing games versus the Fever as your opportunity to see Caitlin Clark. It seems like the Wings went from we've got the next big thing to, well, why aren't tickets selling like they do for Fever games in a matter of days? With some dramatic music playing in the background, the highlight reels will most likely show more of Clark than their own players. We'll also see slow-motion footage of crowded Indiana arenas contrasted with the dispersed crowds at Dallas games, leaving Wings management to wonder where their grand scheme went wrong. A talented player and former national champion, Paige Bueckers deserves respect. She will have a successful WNBA career, but let's not pretend that she is bringing about the revolutionary change in women's basketball that Caitlin Clark has brought about. She isn't breaking attendance records, making history, or elevating the sport to a point where broadcast executives are flipping backwards.
Take a look at what Paige did, okay? This is Paige Bueckers right here. She went 3 for 10 from the floor, 0 for 2 from the 3, took care of the line. She had 7 rebounds, 7 rebounds, 2 assists, and 10 points, all right? She had 2 turnovers, 3 fouls within the game. She took care of the line. So, yeah, it really wasn't that good. She didn't have a great day of shooting. Not what we're used to seeing her being efficient.
But let's not overlook the biggest loser in all of this, Nalyssa Smith. In typical fashion, she failed this one both literally and figuratively because she was too focused on starting over and escaping Caitlin Clark's shadow to realize what she was giving up. What's even worse is that she can't even act as though she didn't make a mistake. She was literally leaving what could have been the most watched WNBA team in history, and her passes made you question whether she was paying attention at all or if she was too busy plotting her escape from being a supporting character in the Caitlin Clark story. The Dallas Wings' attendance is almost embarrassing in comparison to what she left behind in Indiana. In her greatest season with the Fever, she averaged 15.5 points and 9.2 rebounds, which was good stats for Indiana. However, rather than accepting her place as a generational talent, she left for a team that can't even fill its arena with its star rookie.
Smith claimed that the Indiana Fever and Caitlin Clark was holding her back? Where were you? You were MIA, basically. I didn't see you as some offensive juggernaut, and just as I suspected, Enrique is still the star of this team. Regardless of any Paige Bueckers, Dejanay Carrington, Nalyssa Smith, it's still Enrique's show. Plain and simple.
But now that Caitlin Clark is the hottest name in basketball and the Indiana Fever can't print tickets quickly enough, Nalyssa Smith must be realizing what she's given up. The next time Dallas plays Indiana, the camera pans to Smith's face as she watches the sold-out crowd go crazy for Clark. The player who once hardly gave Clark the time of day is now probably regretting every new beginning social media post she ever made. What's really funny, though, is that Smith can't even pull off the I made the right decision narrative. She can't go back and pretend that leaving the Caitlin Clark bandwagon was a wise career move. The receipts are there, but it's too late. The attendance numbers show that she was too preoccupied with boosting her own ego and wanting to be a bigger fish to see the true potential to be a part of something truly historic that was right in front of her.
And I know people are championing, oh, they said it was a sellout. They said it was a Folks, this is what a sellout looks like. Shout out to you, Jar Jar. 18,064, getting freaking chairs from the lunchroom, bringing them here. Oh, this is an extra chair right here. We'll charge $60 for this. That's what a sellout looks like. Shout out to the Golden State Valkyrie fans over there in San Fran. But 6,251 people out of 7,000, only in the WNBA can we sit and clap. Oh my God, what a sellout crowd. Oh my goodness, what a sellout crowd. What did you guys...
Nalyssa Smith's departure from the Fever to the Wings is ultimately all the more ironic due to the timing. It's like watching someone abandon a lucrative career to begin digging in their backyard and then attempting to act as though they were making the right financial choice all along. Sure, she has joined Paige Bueckers' bandwagon, but she still has a few thousand fans, and we all know it. The truth is that Smith's purported new beginning is the epitome of how some athletes believe that it's all about who gets the attention. You can be a part of something revolutionary all day long, but some players just can't handle it unless you're the center of attention. Being a basketball player, Nalyssa Smith chose to put herself in the big fish, small pond category because she didn't want to fall into the Caitlin Clark phenomena. However, she later found that the pond was even smaller than she had initially believed.
The Minnesota Lynx were not very good for most of the game. For an awful lot of the game, they weren't very good. I'm going to be honest, for most of this game, they did not play well. They didn't play well. And it was just the two-man game between Nalyssa Collier and Courtney Williams. Courtney Williams with 25 and 9 assists. Nalyssa Collier with 34 points. And by the way, every single time Nalyssa Smith is on the floor, they just attacked her. They attacked Nalyssa Smith every single possession. They attacked Nalyssa Smith. Whether it be Jessica Shepard, who looks like a beast. Oh my God, having her off the bench when Alana Smith comes back, the Lynx are the team to beat. The Lynx didn't shoot particularly well.
We can practically hear the Dallas Wings marketing team working feverishly behind the scenes to put together last-minute promotions and discount packages like it somehow generates the same organic enthusiasm. And now we're watching the team scramble to give Paige Bueckers the promotion they promised, trying to manufacture the same excitement that comes naturally to Caitlin Clark. It's hilarious, really, like watching someone who just bought an electric car with a 10-mile range try to convince everyone it's just as good as a Tesla only to run out of battery while insisting they're having the time of their life. Oh, and let's not forget the people who have been claiming since day one that there is only one Caitlin Clark. You know, they are currently savoring the glory, sneaking coffee, and taking advantage of any opportunity to say, "Told you so." Seeing Nalyssa Smith realize that she left the biggest thing in women's basketball to join a struggling team with half-full seats is the true karma, even though there is something genuinely rewarding about being correct. It is superior than any slow motion, jaw-dropping slam, or buzzer beater. Replay. With a basketball twist, this is poetic justice, and I'm here for every embarrassing attendance dilemma that arises.
I don't think the Wings are very good. I know there are a lot of people that probably like the Dallas Wings because they like Paige Bueckers. They think Arike is a winning basketball player. They think Nalyssa Smith ISO post touches is going to win you basketball games. They think allowing Dejanay to go ISO is going to win you basketball games. They think Chris Sides is a good coach. They think them trying to put belt to ass to the Toyota Antelopes means anything. This team's not good. This is possibly the worst defensive team in the WNBA.
Therefore, Caitlin Clark is now receiving the recognition she is due, and to be honest, the distance between her and everyone else is getting wider every day. After carrying college basketball on her back, setting records, and packing arenas like Beyoncé on tour, it makes sense that she is attracting the same crowds in the WNBA while others are finding it difficult to fill their lower bowls. We can only hope that Nalyssa Smith won't ask for a trade back to the Fever the following season, because if she does, we may have to launch a statewide campaign to keep her away and ditch the Clark phenomenon. The world is watching Caitlin, not Paige Bueckers or Nalyssa Smith, as she's not just playing the game but also altering it. She's discovering the hard way that sometimes the best place to be is right where you started, in the orbit of a real celebrity.